I was a 40-year-old man, admitted to the hospital for a severe heart condition. My days had become an endless cycle of tests, medications, and uncertainty. The sterile, white walls of my room felt more like a prison than a place of healing. One fateful night, my heart monitor emitted a loud, persistent beat, sending a jolt of panic through my veins. The medical staff rushed into my room, their faces etched with concern. They frantically worked to stabilize my condition, and I could feel the weight of their urgency in the air. As the chaos in my room subsided, I found myself alone in the dimly lit hospital room, bathed in an eerie silence. The only sound was the rhythmic hum of machines and the occasional distant footsteps of nurses. Unable to sleep, I stared at the clock, its luminous hands ticking away the seconds. It was past midnight when an unsettling feeling washed over me. A faint, eerie glow emanated from the hallway outside my room, casting eerie shadows on the walls. I strained my eyes to see through the partially closed door and froze in terror. A grotesque figure slowly emerged from the shadows, its movements jerky and unnatural. Its skin was a sickly gray, and its eyes were empty voids of darkness. The creature's face contorted into a horrifying grin as it approached my bed, its raspy breath sending shivers down my spine. I desperately reached for the call button to summon the nurses, but my trembling hand knocked it to the floor, out of reach. I was paralyzed with fear as the creature drew closer, its skeletal fingers reaching out toward me. I could hear its faint, guttural whispers, a sinister language I couldn't comprehend. Suddenly, the heart monitor next to my bed went berserk, its alarms blaring loudly. The creature recoiled, its form distorting and flickering like a faulty transmission. It let out a blood-curdling screech and dissolved into the darkness. Nurses rushed into my room, their faces a mix of confusion and concern. They couldn't find any logical explanation for the sudden chaos in my room, but they managed to stabilize me once again. I tried to tell them about the creature, the haunting presence that had visited me in the dead of night, but they dismissed it as a hallucination brought on by my condition. As the days passed, I couldn't shake the memory of that night. I was haunted by the image of the creature and its malevolent presence. I became obsessed with finding answers, scouring the hospital's records and history for any mention of similar encounters. What I discovered sent chills down my spine. It turned out that my hospital was built on the site of an old psychiatric institution, infamous for its mistreatment of patients and mysterious disappearances. One day, as I was going through the hospital's archives, I stumbled upon a faded newspaper article from decades ago. It described a series of unexplained deaths and disappearances within the psychiatric institution. Witnesses at the time had reported seeing a shadowy figure in the vicinity of the victims before they met their gruesome fate. The description of the shadowy figure matched the creature I had encountered. It was as if a malevolent presence had lingered in the very walls of this hospital, a vengeful spirit seeking justice for the atrocities committed in the past. Determined to uncover the truth, I enlisted the help of a young nurse named Emily, who had shown a keen interest in the paranormal. Together, we delved deeper into the hospital's history, unearthing stories of cruelty, experimentation, and patients who had mysteriously vanished. One night, as Emily and I were conducting an EVP, electronic voice phenomena session in the abandoned wing of the hospital, we heard faint whispers and eerie laughter. It was as if the tormented souls of the past were trying to communicate with us. Suddenly, the temperature in the room dropped dramatically, and we saw our breaths in the frigid air. A shadowy figure materialized before us, its eyes glowing with malevolence. Emily and I stood frozen in terror as the figure began to speak, recounting tales of suffering and despair. It claimed to be the spirit of a former patient, seeking vengeance against the doctors who had tortured and experimented on him. As the figure advanced toward us, Emily and I made a run for it, our hearts pounding with fear. We raced through the labyrinthine corridors of the hospital, the malevolent presence hot on our heels. Finally, we burst through the hospital's heavy double doors and into the cool night air. We watched in horror as the hospital's windows flickered with an otherworldly light, and anguished cries echoed from within. To this day, I can't forget the hospital, its dark history, and the malevolent spirit that haunts its halls. Emily and I never returned, but the memories of that night continue to haunt us. A chilling reminder that some horrors are not confined to the realm of the living.